And welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather YouTube exclusive edition here. And we don't always stream. Wait a minute. Let's consult the dreaded Family Feud board. We always stream these Daily Space Weather videos live to YouTube. Survey said? Oh, jeez. They always say I'm wrong. It's terribly, terribly disheartening, folks. Just kidding, folks. And we're seeing a coronal mass ejection here from the 30th, blasting off of the eastern limb of the sun toward where Venus is about to pass the Earth in its orbit. This is the LASCO C3. And now we're looking at the view from Stereo A's coronagraph. And if you're wondering where Stereo A is located, Stereo A is out here at Lagrange point 5, where my arrow is, right there. And we don't see any Earth-facing coronal mass ejections at this point. But we did on the 27th. Did you? All right, and now looking at the LASCO C2, get another view of that coronal mass ejection going off to the east. Nothing too exciting there. Next, we're looking at an SDO movie. And that sunspot region is really just one sunspot, one small sunspot. So, and we'll look at the magnetic fields in a bit. There's the latest from SDO. And thanks for viewing the smAsho stream, everybody. It's not the normal setup, and we will indeed access the chat so users can get involved. Next, looking at the Helio viewer. And we're going to show you the magnetic fields here in a minute. There's the magnetic field situation. And again, there's only one small umbra on the front of that sunspot region. Here's a 304 angstroms view. And some significant filaments all around here. Actually, let me get out Epic Pen. So we've got some pretty significant filamentary activity going on up here, as well as down here some great shots. And perhaps we'll make another video later today about those filamentary regions if we have time. And we're getting artifacts on the screen, folks. Artifacts, I tell you. We've got 2 Epic Pens open. That's what the problem is. All right, I apologize for the dangers of streaming live. Oh my goodness, no! Next, we've got a one-day movie here on Helio Viewer in 304 angstroms. And allow me to vanish for aesthetic purposes. There we go. I'll let that play through another time here. And I'll be right back. Ah, that's much better now that I'm back in the blue flames in the depths of hell. Our favorite place to put a bunker. Check out the filaments up here. That's pretty sweet. That area right there. And also a good view of the North Pole coronal hole area there in 193 angstroms, which is, I believe, Ben Davidson's favorite wavelength. And of course, each wavelength is good for certain things. some better than others. And lastly, here's a one-day helioviewer movie, custom style, in the 171 angstroms. And again, only one small sunspot there. Not expecting a whole lot of anything too crazy out of that. And let's move on, as there's plenty of stuff to talk about. We've shortened things a little bit. It took a little time to create today's live stream on YouTube, so cheers, and thanks for leaving a comment, Mr. Keebler. And by the way, there are the comments on the screen. We do see them. KP index has come down to 1, and it looks like I've overestimated my guesses of where the KP index would go on yesterday's forecast. 10.7 centimeter radio flux is still at 70. And we see some noctilucent clouds here photographed on spaceweather.com. And today's cosmology segment is non-existent, give or take. Although we are experiencing a solstice countdown, folks. So where will you be in 20 days, 11 hours, and 22 minutes? At least from when we shot this live stream. If you viewed this in syndication, that's all right. We usually stream these live, by the way, at twitch.tv/smAsho. So join us for the Solstice Stream 2020. When the sun reaches its northernmost angle with respect to the Earth. Congratulations to NASA and SpaceX and those two dudes and that dude there and so on and so on. Yesterday's launch. Today you should have the opportunity to see the dock happen. Maybe watch the NASA channel, watch the docking happen. Hopefully there's not a lot of gay jokes. So I don't know if you watched the liftoff yesterday. We did a live stream at the time of the liftoff yesterday. Now, we actually do have cosmology here. Check it out. We're talking about magnetic flux ropes. So part of the reason why we saw the flares is because the sunspot wasn't in the Earth-facing zone, believe it or not. I know it sounds crazy. We won't get into it today. It's the daily space weather. So looking at where things are in the solar system here, there's where things will be in a week as Venus makes an appearance on the regs in the LASCO C2. I mean the LASCO C3. Not sure if it'll be close enough to the ecliptic to be on the C2 or not. And frankly, my dear, I don't give a hecking gosh darn. Next, looking at a star chart. And man, oh man, this is crazy. We're actually creating a live stream here while it's light out. So it's... Oh, okay, that's better. I thought I stopped broadcasting from the depths of hell. All right, anyway. If you get up before dawn, you should see a lovely Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. And this morning when I woke up, Jupiter was so bright, I thought Jupiter was Mars. It looked red. It must have been because of a cloudy atmosphere. So here's the 3-day GOES X-ray flux, getting back to your legit space weather data here. And again, see these 2 M-class flares, and then some C-class flares and some B-class flares. And really that ultimately has to do with the angle that emission spectra happens to be emitted. The angle of emission is very interesting. And if you notice today's thumbnail, it has to do with that. Next, looking at the GOES proton flux here, and it's quite flat, no surprises there. Didn't really see any significant hits from that Earth-facing CME that happened on the 27th, unless it's already happened. And again, it's very difficult to gauge the timing on a coronal mass ejection strike, and we're actually working on a system for that, which we can't divulge the specifics of. Anyway, looking at the real-time solar wind now, see a phi angle that's quite shifty over the past 24, currently at about 250 degrees, 280 degrees, 280 degrees. We did see an expansion here of the density graph. The density made it up to around 20 there for a while. And that could have been a coronal mass ejection, not really sure on that. Looks like the way this looks that it was actually a coronal hole wind stream. It reached about 427. And yeah, current solar wind 5 protons per cubic centimeter. The solar wind speed 393 kilometers a second. Here's the magnetosphere movie. And we only really need to look at pressure today. There's 4 hours of that. So I've been having a little cough lately. I don't know. You guys think I look okay? Let me get closer to the camera. I don't know. You think I'm going to be all right? I feel a little weird. Anyway, here's 4 hours of geospace magnetosphere movies. And I'll be right back. Okay. A little nose breathing and I feel just fine. And you see the ghost magnetometer is kind of all over the place here. No big surprise there, as we see a whole bunch of activity affecting the way the B fields behave. And when I say B fields, I mean the blue one on this chart. This is a line of sight field plot, the way the fields would look from the Earth. And you can see the B field being pulled down quite a bit. So getting a little bit of an oblong shape there as the sun moves into cycle 25. So here's the top view ecliptic plane field plot, and you can see that either the North Pole is strengthening or the South Pole is weakening, or a combination of the two is happening there. This data is shockingly old, 4 hours and 5 minutes. Now 4 hours and 34 minutes old. So usually this is about 1 to 2 hours old. Keep in mind the magnetic environment can change with no apparent warning. And looking at the electron flux, it's still ultra low. I mean, NOAA keeps saying that it's in low to moderate range, and it's pretty much just in a low range, a very, very low range, and you see this very significant trend down since August of 2019. And there's the 3-day GOES electron flux. This is the greater than or equal to 2 mega electron volt. And please take the opportunity to touch your face, folks. If you're watching the video through a mask, please touch your face. And by the way, forcing healthy people to wear masks and to quarantine is not legit in any way. Sick people are supposed to be quarantined and wearing masks. Not healthy people. Anyway, there's a total electron content forecast, and it looks like a pretty good day for GPSs. I saw a little bit of errors in my GPS yesterday. Perhaps I'll cover that at a later time, or put an Instagram post. And here's the ionosphere map, animated for the last 6 hours. And I'll let that play for a moment, and I'll be right back. Now, we greatly enjoy viewing our live premieres with our audience, and one of the reasons to do a live stream like we're doing now is to save time and to put out more content and things. So while we won't be able to stream this, we won't be able to view this with the audience, we do appreciate your commentary. And we do expect to possibly put out some more content today. Anyway, there's the latest image on the ionosphere, and it's looking like an anomalous sphere. It's the northern Actually, both ends of the ionosphere are very odd today. And you can see right there, that's 10:15 Universal Time. Ionospheric anomalies on really mainly in both polar regions. And thanks for your comment, Richard Issen. Oh, that's Dick Kissin. I get it. That user is Dick Kissin. So we did see a 6 magnitude earthquake a few hours ago here. This one occurred in the Andes here. 32 kilometers west-northwest of Lampa, Peru, near Lake Titicaca. And it's a fairly mountainous region. You can see the shake map. It looks like it was pretty much insulated by a lot of mountains. And we'll just go up the list for the past 24 here. So we saw a deep quake on Kamchatka. Check it out, a deep quake on Kamchatka. It looks like it's not too far from a bunch of volcanoes. Check it out. Yowzers. It's a 4.5 magnitude. And let's get through the list here. We don't want the video to be too long, since there are lots of things to do. What say you? We see a 4.7 also here at 106 kilometers deep at Ecuador. There's a quake on Taiwan. You don't see that too often. Shout out to David Dubine. And yes, I know you're not in Taiwan. Check this one out. Here's one at 2,000 meters. So, gee, you think it's on Mauna Loa? Let me guess. Right underneath the main caldera of Mauna Loa? Oh, what a surprise. Anyway, there it is. It's a 3.2 magnitude quake at extreme depth. And when I say extreme depth, I mean thousands of meters above sea level. How you like them apples? And I totally lost my place on the list. There we go. And just scrolling back up the list here. Significant earthquake there on Japan. A 5.6 magnitude at nearly 100 kilometers. Followed, what's up with that? 1813, 1821, and 1849. 3 quakes in a row. 5.6, 4.6, 4.7. And the 4.7 in the deep quake capital of the world, near Fiji, at over 600 kilometers depth. Tonga, deep quake there, quite nearby at 4.6 magnitude. And quakes coming in as we do the live stream. Here's a 4.6 at Argentina, a 5.3 at Brazil. Actually, it's more like in the mid-Atlantic ridge, in the South Atlantic. Small deep quake at Alaska, a 4.5 quake at Tonga at a depth of 530 kilometers. Deep quake at Chile, looks like a foreshock, and then you have that 6.0 at Peru, and that's at depth, folks. That could be a predecessor for a larger quake. So let's hope that's not a foreshock, because if it is, if that happened at the surface, that would be more like a 6.7. Here's an ultra shallow quake at California. Let's see where that is. It's 700 meters above sea level. And there's a location of that. Looks like a populated area, perhaps, as I see grid-like streets. And what else do we have here? Another quake near 100 kilometers deep at Kamchatka. And let's look at volcanoes. Kluchevskoye is still erupting, flight level 22,000 there. Abiko, flight level 12,000 there. Semeru, flight level 13,000 there. Dakono is exploding, continuous volcanic ash emissions, 7,000 foot plume there. Dispersed are the volcanic emissions at Popocatépetl, but Sangay is still exploding, 19,000 foot plume there. Sabancaya is exploding, 25,000 foot plume there. Please do not attempt to jump a dune buggy over the caldera. And next we're going to talk about this scary, spooky, scary thing that may drive you to drink. Oh my goodness, have you been driven to drink because you think that is scary? Well, one of the things you could do is you could cast a bright, horrifying light on that thing and it'll go. First of all. Second of all, that thing, did you know that thing is made in China? It's the Kung Flu, okay? It's made in China. And let's do an exercise where we all touch our face and then we say China, China, China. If you want to spell it on social media, it's spelled C-H-I-D-A. I don't know what it means. I'm still trying to comprehend it, but China it's the mispronunciation of a country on purpose. All presidents do it. So anyway, please don't be so scared of China, because China, which by the way I was saying has presented itself as a paper tiger since the beginning of the pandemic. China is not scary, and neither is the spooky, scary COVID. But the CCP is a little scary. But seriously, though, China is something you should learn how to say. China, say it like Trump. It's very therapeutic, just like touching your face. So touch your face and say China, China, China. C-H-I-D-A. Pronounce it like you have sinusitis. It's fun. If you enjoy the content, please don't forget to press like and subscribe on YouTube. And thanks for including us in your suggested channels, Oppenheimer Ranch Project. See, there I am. I'm just under suspicious observers. And let's play a little tidbit, because one of the things you may want to do when you're on lockdown is to say China. She said, shh. Don't tell anybody about smashamash.com/forum. It could be very controversial, as well as the things we say on Twitter. Oh my goodness, goshness, graciousness. I've been tweeting things and I haven't yet been banned from Twitter. Wow! Now, something important to understand. A few days ago, Mark Zuckerberg stated that he doesn't think Facebook should be in the business of fact-checking posts. That's because his lawyers told him to say that, because what he's suggesting is that Facebook is in fact checking, shadow banning, throttling, and engineering posts via their spyware and junkware platforms. The moral of the story is Facebook needs to learn to code, because they have some of the worst software on the internet. Between Facebook and Google, it is a race to the bottom. And it just makes you want to just teleport into another element, another plane of existence, another multiverse, which I'm going to do right now. Enough of that. Son of a beehive. Did anybody watch Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte yesterday? We totally forgot to do it. I got too busy. There was too many things to do. I cut all the grass and then I went to virtual bars. I survived a global pandemic. I've survived a global pandemic. Have you? Please leave a comment if you're viewing the video from the other side. Do you think we should make this shirt or the 3C405 shirt? What do you say? Let's check out the weather scenario. We see a bunch of frost advisories on May 31st in the Great Lakes region. Apparently they're so far experiencing a year without a summer is on tap. At least the hydrologic forecast is looking better than it was a couple days ago for the northern Rockies melt regions. Let's check out windy.com's pressure maps, as high pressure makes we cyclists go more slowly. As dry mass of air is heavier than moist air, we prefer hot, humid, sticky days with overcast skies and no wind. Those are fast days. And here's where we think pressure will be tomorrow around noon. On Monday, June 1st. Looks like it's going to be some clear weather where I am, which is in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. And looking at the jet streams, we see some extreme meridional jet stream flow here. Practically the definition of it, you see this characteristic north and south 180-degree bends, as well as some oddities down here in the southern hemisphere. Here's the eastern world's jets. And the jet stream is what causes the extreme weather that you're seeing everywhere, folks, not carbon dioxide. Here's the water vapor map for Europe and Africa. Here's a water vapor map for the Far East and Oceania. Here is the lightningmaps.org. Quite a bit of lightning striking here. Kind of in a line like this. How about them apples? Don't let lightning strike your apples. Try using lightningmaps.org next time you hear thunder. And it won't be a wonder why you don't blunder and stand around near a lightning rod. Check it out. Lorma. There's thunder rolling in over there in Lorma, Spain. Next, looking at Doppler radar of the U.S. By the way, if you have requests for us to show you Doppler radar of other places, let us know. We'll hook you up. And next, we're going to show you the way we look at the clouds when it is light out. So check it out. We're going to show you the sunrise visible. We're going to go 20 frames here. Showing you the sunrise there over the east coast of the U.S., which gives you great definition of the clouds, by the way. And let's see what's really going on in the water vapor. And this one works in light or in sun, folks. The water vapor map is super helpful if you've got some weather above you. So check out the NASA GOES interactive weather satellite's water vapor satellite. It's a delight. And it's going to be some clear weather over Pennsylvania today, a perfect day to get out into nature in Pennsylvania. And let's check out this little atmospheric pond that's forming up here. I see an atmospheric pond. And it looks like it's moving to the north because of jet stream interaction. And today's a perfect day to draw something vulgar on the screen. Hey, thanks to our patrons, especially our latest patron, especially all of our patrons, who are assistant and associate producers of the content. thanks to our subscribe stars. We're also over there. We're on PayPal. Thanks to the smAsho team. Please don't forget to share the content on your social media accounts. Share it with your friends. Share it with your foes. We don't mind where the science goes, as it is a ride on which it'll take you, and we will not fake you out with BS. Don't forget to save the date for the solstice. You can find that countdown timer at timeanddate.com. Last but not least, we're going to look at the magnetic fields of this sunspot, which is, I can't remember which number we're on. I think it's something like 2764. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's pretty weak and pretty small. So another example of how you don't need a super large sunspot to make X-ray flares. It's all got to do with proximity, folks. So anyway, keep in mind we usually put these videos on twitch.tv/smAsho, so please set up an account over there. Get the app. The app works quite nicely, actually. The Twitch app, one of the best apps for live streaming, probably the best app for live streaming on the internet. And let's take a look at the Umbra, which is quite itty-bitty. And there you can see just one Umbra. One main Umbra. Actually, you know what? I think there are a few there. I think it is a group. So maybe that's a little bit more complex than when we did show prep, but there's one there. And there's a group of like 2 Umbra there. So that's something interesting. And let's check out one more image here, one more set of images here. 131 angstroms. It's about time to close this thing out. Thanks for leaving a comment, Daz Brown. And keep in mind, again, we usually do view these as a live premiere, which allows us to type a lot and answer questions, and we typically view the content ourselves. But today, due to time constraints, we decided to do a live stream to YouTube. So this one will be exclusive here on YouTube. It won't appear on BitChute or Facebook. I mean, it'll appear on Facebook as a share, but this one won't be on BitChute or on Twitch. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Allow me to vanish. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink, and if you drink, don't drive. Better yet, don't drive, period. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back and those COVIDiots absent from your multiverse.